This is Eivor of the Raven Clan, and you're listening to Raw Dogs.
Talking about Albert Wesker, it's going to be kind of edgewise, very edgy. He's one of the edgiest dudes ever.
It got to the point where I feel like I was dreaming in his voice.
Welcome to Raw Dogs, everybody. Before we get too far ahead of everything,
hold on, we got to start it out. It was a dark and stormy night on Raw Dogs.
Wesker was turgid with excitement.
Oh my!
So unsexual and so unhorny.
You know he keeps his sunglasses on when he bangs.
He has to.
I don't like eye contact. It makes me feel things.
I'm insecure about my eye problem. This is Raw Dogs, everybody. Welcome. We're part of the Greenlit Podcast Network. We are part of Hair of the Dogcast. I am one of your hosts. I'm Brad, and I like Resident Evil quite a bit.
My name is Dylan. I also like Resident Evil quite a bit. It's kind of a love-hate relationship for the most part. Going back to some of those old ones, a little rough. But there's nothing but love in my heart for the idea of it, at least.
My name is Nick, and I also like Resi. Maybe not as much as the folks around me.
Well, you have a pet name for it.
I mean, it's great, and it gave me nightmares for like 10 years. So
There's like a 4-year period recently where it was President Evil.
Very good.
Dude.
Talk about edgy.
Nick,
No, it's good to have you back. It's been a little bit.
It's been a minute.
When was the last time you were on?
It's been like a month.
Was it FF7?
Only a
Yeah,
month?
it was
Really?
FF7.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I have not listened to that episode yet, but I will.
Because you're
it's a
not
good
done
one.
with the game
I'm
yet.
not done with the game yet.
What?
By the way, I'm Dominic. I'm
Yeah.
here. I did have a, I did a little research on this one.
Yeah, understatement
He's
of the
ready.
century.
Yes, what we were talking about before. We were talking during another episode about lore dives, because we do a lot of lore dives on this podcast series before we get too far ahead. Thank you to our executive producers, Tyler Keller, Ryan Christinik, Killer Kip the Killmeister. Welcome new Patreon member Phil E. Very happy to have you. And all of our other supporters, we love you all so much. Judge Tempest. And there's others. There's literally dozens of us. And we love all of you.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, so we were talking when we were doing a lore dive, I think it was Mega Man, and I was thinking we should have like a more focused way to go into the lore. And we were talking about Resident Evil and like Wesker as a vehicle for lore discussion for Resident Evil. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was an exciting idea. You fucking, you went with it.
Yep.
And you were, well, I mean, and as I was reading through your 14-page outline,
Yeah.
which it was, I was like, no way, wait, what? Like, there's so much to this fella.
Yeah.
And they just go, they don't know how to stop. Like, all right, then this happens, and it gets bigger, and then bigger, and...
I love it.
Yeah, but
It's so bonkers. I love it so much.
it's true Capcom. Like, that's Capcom at its finest, of just like, screw it, loose the chains, let everything go. Like,
It's very much what the Japanese think that American storytelling kind of is. It's Resident Evil, for all intents and purposes, is a soap opera with zombies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that tone is very much, it's in the campy side. They're starting to get back into realistic.
Actual horror.
oh, seven
yeah.
is
7 in the RE2 remake doesn't have a lot of a soap opera feel to it.
No.
Nah, they definitely honed it in, but those first ones are amazing. Amazingly campy, but they still manage to be scary in that you don't know how to control your person properly. They don't know how to run.
Camera angles are the most frightening part of 1, 2, and 3.
One of the, I know with the Resident Evil remake for GameCube, one of the ways that we're able to make a GameCube game look that good is all just pre-rendered images that the things are running on, and the camera doesn't move, which takes a lot of pressure off of your hardware.
They could have been matte paintings.
Yeah, all you need is a beautiful painting, and then you slap it onto a 3D plane. That's all you need to do.
But we will discuss some of the gameplay and the other things next on the next episode or later on. But we need to just talk about our boy here, the God King, that is Albert Wesker. So I'm just going to read a few facts that I got just earlier today. So birthday, July 17th, 1960. Height, 6'3", weight, 198 pounds. Likes, world domination. On the
What's his blood type?
It is
It's
O.
on there.
Of
It's
course
on there.
they have it on there. It's Japanese.
Also, it's just like a virus cocktail by the end of it. But he is a power-hungry social Darwinist, is how Villains Wiki describes him. His goal is to purify the world of the weak and rule it as a god.
Okay, yeah.
Global saturation, I believe, is the term he
He wants
uses.
to saturate everyone so hard.
He wants to exterminate.
Is that a Dalek reference?
No. Well, we're talking about okay, so first things first. What he calls saturation isn't it's just we're just going to spread this virus all throughout the world. And then if it's social Darwinism, there's nothing social about genocide.
Well, he's not trying. He's not trying to destroy the entire population. I mean, the way that the Ouroboros, which we'll get to, the way that
Just a fun one to say.
It's going to kill most people, but the survivors are going to be fucking Matrix dudes like Wesker.
They get superpowers. It's a tough deal. It's a tough deal there.
It's got kind of like a Thanos-ness to him. He's like, humans suck. Like, they're doing a bad job. They're going to destroy themselves and destroy the planet. I'm going to do the right thing here. Keep my sunglasses on, and
You're talking movie Thanos.
well, no. Now I'm going back into Wesker.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for that Chris Redfield guy, who honestly he's the villain of the series, Wesker is just trying to save humanity.
He just Scooby-Doos him every time. It's like, if it wasn't for that meddling Chris Redfield.
Are you Redfields?
How did you get so jacked?
I like your theory on that one.
That
It's
was
the only
amazing.
thing I can think of.
I laughed out loud.
We'll get there.
Scooby-Doo
Yeah.
seems appropriate, yeah.
Dom, do you want to just kind of start us off with Umbrella, where it came from?
Okay, so these three dudes, Oswell Spencer, his buddy from university, James Marcus, and some
Edward Ashford.
Victorian dude with a bunch of money all got together because they liked virology and heard about this flower in Africa that gives the locals superhuman abilities. So they go to Africa, get this flower, extract what they call at that point is the progenitor virus.
Yes.
From it, and decide that they essentially want to infect the world and basically make superhumans and basically the next step of evolution.
It's the Lale Lule Lo from Metal Gear Solid.
Is that what they do in Metal Gear Solid?
It's the Patriots are established around this time.
These guys kind of just have
Earlier, actually.
a lot of bad ideas about what they're up to.
Straight up.
It's cool. There's this plant that has, they call it the Stairway of the Sun, and it's got DNA that can repair cells or keep you young.
Yeah.
There are cool possibilities with this virus to keep you young forever or whatever. They don't pursue this enough. They're like, this family who built this mansion, let's just inject them. Just inject them all.
It is bonkers. Yeah.
And they have a company for 5 years before they're all ready to start killing each other.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Everyone's just got a gun behind their back, just waiting for someone to say something.
Lose their mind.
Yeah, due to a lack of funds, they establish Umbrella Pharmaceuticals in order to to start a project to produce biological weapons for the American military while hiding their true goal of creating a superior human race. Now, I don't think that the Ubermensch is a bad idea necessarily. I mean, mankind does have to evolve, and we are going to take evolution into our own hands at some point, since we can control DNA.
But you might notice that every depiction of an Ubermensch usually fits the the look of the person that they're adapting it to. So it's like Superman is white, and like the Ubermensch is always. He's white Kryptonian. Yeah, it's problematic on that scale. Yeah.
Sorry, they fucking go off the rails pretty quick though.
Yeah.
The project would be known as the T-Virus Project. The goal was to effectively eliminate the need for a large-scale conventional army and generate revenue to their eugenics program. They really were just trying to make the perfect human being, which is kind of how they eventually start working on this thing called the Wesker Project. Mm-hmm. I like that we don't know much about Papa Wesker.
Oh, at all.
Just
nothing. Other just like that's his name and that's it.
Yeah. He was
Who the fuck is this guy?
So,
because his DNA is not in any of them.
No.
He's got to be just an absolute badass to just like vanish. So they just backpocketed him. They're like Resident Evil 10 is going to be him.
Oh yeah. Maybe they're gonna pull like Albert Wesker was actually his father's consciousness transplanted into a newborn babe with a Q virus. The Q virus.
Oh my
that's a virus for the modern age right there.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Where we come one, we come all, whatever they say.
You are on fire today.
You're a fucking loose cannon. I'm gonna have to rein you in later. I know I'm gonna have to. Yeah, it's
the Q virus. So Chris Redfield would not know what to do with him.
No, he sure would not.
Dom, you said he was adopted by Spencer because
Quote, unquote,
of his
adopted. Yes.
Yeah. Like taken in. He became the ward, almost as if Robin to Batman. Mm-hmm. And the reason is because of his good grades.
So it was him and
Dude, he got an A in English.
I believe it was 13 kids got abducted by Spencer.
Oh, yeah.
And it was because of their enhanced intelligence at such a young age.
Oh, well.
I like to imagine when they show up, they're all given little pairs of sunglasses right away. Here you go.
Who looks better?
So I don't know if this is why he wears sunglasses.
I think it's to hide his eyes.
Right, it is to hide his eyes, but I don't know if he got his eyes from this project or not. It's not really just...
They weren't given the progenitor virus right away.
Right.
No, because they let the kids kind of get brainwashed and grow up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the T virus, I don't know if that was just the progenitor or the T that they actually give them, but it's progenitor. It kills all of them except two. Albert Wesker and his sister Alex. Yeah,
Alexandra.
which we don't know much about her.
We do. She's the villain in Revelations 2. I believe. Yeah. And that whole game in itself is bonkers as hell. Just she shows up. All of a sudden, there's a second Wesker.
Yeah.
You find out that she's the other survivor of the W Project or Project W. Barry's in it. Claire's in it.
I played Revelations 2 the other day. I did the first two levels of the campaign. So the Claire one and then the Barry level, the first one.
So she actually takes some kid that's in that game and implants her memories into her somehow using the
virus. They're using a virus.
Because
everything is using a virus.
It's always the T virus spliced with another virus, spliced with another virus.
It's Veronica.
But eventually they get away from the progenitor, I believe. Isn't Las Plagas a separate strain?
I think it's like a strain of the Nemesis parasite. Or it does what the Nemesis,
virus.
It does what the Nemesis parasite does essentially.
I didn't realize how many viruses were roaming around.
This is a bonkers universe.
Believe it or not, they're all over the place.
Can you imagine just how often do these games come out? Every 3 years, every 3 years,
I think that is
new
really
virus
average,
comes out. that just wipes out a city and turns everybody into zombies.
Well, what are they going to do when they run out of letters, you know?
Right.
What astounds me, I think, more than anything is that like Umbrella's got so many people in like governments all across the world, and like no one's actually doing any like, I don't know, like Nuremberg like war trials or anything like that. It seems like appropriate, but everyone's just like, no, now they're finally gone thanks to Chris. And it's just like well, they're gone now. Everyone just believe me, they're gone now, and then they'll come back. They'll do it again.
Well, like every game, Ada Wong's working for a new agency. Well, because first they had
what's she up to?
Well, it's Umbrella, and then they get into HCF, which is the organization, and now it's the Collections, which is who Lucas Baker was working with.
Jesus
with the mold
Christ.
virus,
Right.
And but he was also going to sell to a third party at the end of that game, and we don't know who he was going to sell to. That was probably just fucking Wesker starting a new company. I hope he's around still.
I
think
do too.
I think he is.
Here's the problem, and it's probably because they speckle in lore now in these new games because they don't want to turn people off. I don't think we're going to see Wesker in this game because if Wesker shows up, people are literally going to say, "Who?"
Wow.
Like new game, like gamers. Like we have a bunch of new gamers now.
Well, I imagine what's going to happen because we know we have his illegitimate son Jake Muller at the end of 6.
Yeah.
Yep. I hope he goes through a Jesus Christ style
think they're gonna
character
ignore him.
arc, and eventually he will realize he's the son of God, and he will ascend to full Weskerhood, and he'll be the new Wesker.
I don't think we're ever going to see that guy again.
No, he's got to do
He
something.
got a lot of hate. A lot of hate.
It was pretty rough.
I had never played that game, but just reading about it, I was like, are they for real?
Admittedly, that was the reason why I stopped playing that game.
He was kind of edgelordy from what
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
It's like I'm kind of fucked up if you haven't heard.
Sure, you can take me, but it'll cost $50 million.
Yeah.
Sherry, on the other hand, says, okay.
And then at the very, but at the end, he's like, just like $50 is cool.
I'm actually okay.
I got some overdue tapes at the video store. Gotta return some tapes. 1977, under the tutelage of James Marcus, Wesker is able to acquire a job at Umbrella at the age of 17. Where also the age he received a PhD in biology. And you know when you meet some of those friends that just have a huge effect on the rest of your life. He meets who I don't know if he wants to call him a friend, but they were like definitely colleagues and partners for a while. And William Birkin, Billy B as they call him.
Right.
Yeah.
I call him Eyeball Man.
Look at all his eyeballs. His shoulder's an eyeball.
I think they're more so frenemies because every like video log I heard of somebody like talking as Wesker,
Yeah.
it was always Birkin. And I'm like, you don't say that if he's your friend. You just
Wait, that's how I say Brad's name
like-
every
yeah,
time.
Bradley.
Whenever you walk in, whenever Nick walks in, I go, Nick.
I guess it's just our thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
I
that's
thought that was normal.
maybe that's how he expresses his emotions, his deep-seated desires. It's just like maybe this is the only type of connection he can have.
So these two guys are holding knives behind their backs at each other the whole time. And meanwhile, Marcus, one of the 3 founders, likes these two. And so Spencer's like, I don't like that you have people you like. So they get all jealous of each other.
Right?
Meanwhile, Marcus and Spencer, they both got pissed off at Ashford. And they're just like, you're gone. Go to Antarctica and we're going to get you killed quick.
So he fucks off to Antarctica.
Fucks off to Antarctica.
And then he does.
Yeah.
Wesker will do anything for a promotion.
He's one of those.
Because Marcus begins testing on human subjects with leech DNA, and that's how he discovers the T virus. Basically, it doesn't fully kill the subjects, but it'll turn him into a zombie. And Wesker tattles on him to Spencer, who wants him to steal a strain. And that's how Wesker and Birkin wind up working for Spencer in the Arklay Mountains.
Yep. And Marcus's facility just gets shut down. No questions asked. Everybody just go home.
Like, what are these
especially you, Marcus?
What are these board meetings like?
Yeah, right. I have no fucking idea.
I'm seeing it as like very Dr. Evil, just like they all got the buttons though.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, there's Ashford in Antarctica, just like with his evil twincest babies and a frozen lair. It is fucking James Bond, Dr. Evil.
Weird. First of all, if you haven't played any of these games, you probably have no idea what we're talking about. Just play them all. They're
great.
fantastic.
If
the
you
cutscenes are bonkers. I watched a lot of the cutscenes today.
Bless your
I forget.
heart. Bless your heart if you're listening to this and you haven't played any of the games, because you are a trooper.
You're in for a wild ride, for sure.
Yeah.
But also go and play the games, because
Don't play all of them. Don't play all the games.
No.
Skip 1. Maybe play the remake on GameCube.
Oh,
The 2
yeah.
remake is
Yeah.
great. 3 remake is pretty good. 4 I don't think can be played anymore.
you don't think so?
I tried playing it.
Zero actually explains a lot of this, what you were talking about. And when I played it as a kid, I'm like, who the fuck are these characters? Like, because I hadn't played a lot of these games before, and Zero had just come out after the 1 remake, and I'm like, who the fuck are any of these people? Like, I'm like, who the fuck is Rebecca Chambers?
Is it
like,
Billy Cohen?
Billy?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's got a tribal tattoo, so
It's not a tribal tattoo.
Oh.
It's a queen tattoo.
Oh,
Well, okay, now I feel like a dick because it is actually cool.
Yeah, you son of a
It says
bitch.
mother love.
Ah.
It's
Mother Miranda.
That's how deep I got into this fucking
that's
movie.
a dark hole that I just got a glimpse of.
But it does look like a tribal tattoo.
Do you think Billy's going to be in 8?
No. Billy's gone.
Why though?
Because
We'll get there.
he's they think he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
get
know,
there.
but he seems like a real stand-up guy.
Up next in the outline, there's a thing called Dommy's Biology Corner about the Ebola virus.
Oh God.
Give us it.
So when Wesker and Birkin finally meet each other and they go into the Arclay facility, that's when they are tasked with researching the Ebola virus.
Okay. Literally the Ebola virus.
Yeah. And the reason for that is because it's this emerging thing that they can kind of probably get away with researching and sort of learn off of that virus to figure out what they can do with the T virus. And
Now, for our people at home, you have you work in the medical field.
I work in a laboratory.
Okay, so we're getting
How many
some real
viruses
shit.
do you handle daily?
A lot.
What is the most dangerous virus?
AIDS.
Can you? Okay. fair enough.
The human mind.
I was gonna say, can you tell me that?
Yeah.
I think Brad's right.
So that's why I kind of know some sciencey stuff. I'm not a doctor or anything. I did not get my PhD in biology at the age of 17 like Wesker did. But
Well, you're
Is
smarter
wearing
than
a
any
lab
of
coat.
us.
oh my gosh, they arrive on the scene basically, and this is that moment on their first day down in the Arclay Mountains where you see Wesker in that picture wearing his sunglasses and his lab coat.
I love any flashback picture where it's just like a picture of a bunch of scientists and there's a guy wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, it's so funny. But they're basically tasked with trying to find a cure for Ebola, and they can't technically research it as a weapon due to some like biological weapon pact made up thing that in the Resident Evil world. So they decide that they're going to work on it as a cure, but secretly work it as a like to see if they can make it weaponize it, right?
It's like you could say you're working on keeping people alive by stabbing or practicing like stabbing people, so you can just this is how you shouldn't get stabbed and it'll keep you alive.
Right. And they're able to get around this because it's
I didn't
sort
get a
of
PhD either.
Right. But they're able to get around this because it's essentially like the atom bomb, like where I don't know if somebody else out there is trying to do it, aka Germany, so we might as well be doing it over here.
Yeah.
And it just turns into this nightmare thing, but that's how they're able to do it.
They make a mansion. Spencer makes a mansion. And this is when they start really experimenting on people. When the Trevors who make the mansion,
It's the worst.
which, Resident Evil does have this thing too, where they have to try and explain why they can have locations that have crests and movable items and insert the arrow into the bow on the statue. And okay, you had a wacky guy make a mansion. You could get away with it one time, but then like you go to a police station, the second one, it's like, it was an art museum. We don't know. Like, what art museum also just have crests that unlock hidden passageways?
Spencer's obviously just a maniac because anything that he makes, it just turns into this bonkers puzzle nightmare.
It's like who's the guy that had the murder hotel in Chicago? H.H. Holmes?
H.H. Holmes, yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a flavor like that.
Can you imagine your first day of work in training and having to be like, and then you have to go into this room and put this crest in here, and then this opens up a thing, and then you have to take that thing and go, just to get to work.
You won't get this, but the thing is, the crest is behind this. You have to get a screwdriver out of a key.
Right.
It's so good.
Now, I just have to ask, do you think that Elon Musk's house operates in this way? I'm just going to bet.
Parts of it do.
Except instead of like nefarious things, there's like hidden slides.
Oh, yeah.
That just have like pictures of rockets on the way down.
The pictures of his child,
And
A
flamethrowers.
Epsilon Axios, whatever the fuck his child's name is. If you're richer than God,
placeholder,
apparently you
right?
just can't name someone Greg.
So let's just say a whole lot of stuff.
This guy's name was Spencer.
Yeah.
Let's say a whole lot of stuff happens. Lisa Trevor is the only surviving member of the family that gets experimented on, and she's around for a long time, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
She's carrying around the T-virus for a while. Alexia Ashford is in Antarctica. She's a 10-year-old prodigy. And she's so smart at 10 years old that she gets to work on research with the rest of the Umbrella team. Mm-hmm. And Billy Birkin doesn't like that. He's like, I'm the youngest.
No, it's me.
He like gets fucking pissed to the point where Wesker is like, dude, you're being a fucking bitch. Like, you need to stop this.
You want to wear my second pair of sunglasses? Like,
But he essentially goes crazy and just starts killing people.
As you do.
Yeah, which is, it's insane.
So you got to imagine, you don't like, for all intents and purposes, like killers, they are not all just like born that way. It's kind of a mixture of nature and nurture.
There's a trigger,
What do you actually think? Like, because it does not seem that there is an actual point within his life where something traumatic happened, or
not early on.
Not that we know of, yeah.
do you think like a lot of serial killers, like a lot of the inciting incidents are like they were on a swing and then they fell and they hit their head and their like frontal cortex got kind of fucked up.
I mean, there might be like one inciting incident, but I think a lot of it was parenting. And I think a lot of like Wesker was just getting nudged. I'm sure like all the video games they bought were like how to dominate a world and practice eugenics.
This was the 70s, so he was only playing Pong or Space Invaders.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he was definitely like getting pushed into like certain aspects of study.
Well, and I mean, they were
And if you-
brainwashing him.
And if you tell a kid like you're going to be a great scientist, like you're so smart.
Yeah.
And what if he was like, I just want to be a ballerina. I fucking wanted to be a ballerina since I watched the Nutcracker. And they're like, you should really think science, though, you know?
Yeah.
I think
No, Father, I want to be the Rat King.
What if Wesker comes back as the Rat King, as like a new villain? You don't know it's him. It's just a guy dressed as a rat the whole
He's
time.
just dancing. He
Just
doesn't
dancing.
actually do anything.
A villain
I'm finally pursuing my dreams, Father.
I think that's possible.
It's possible.
In the Resident Evil universe, a person that wears an outfit and just dances and speaks in like iambic pentameter would fit.
Oh, yeah.
It would.
It wouldn't be. Yeah, there's just the Queen Leech. Like,
I think we may have crossed the line into Silent Hill. I'm not sure.
I thought that this world had like a modicum of like restraint, and
No,
just reading this like, oh no, after the third one they really went crazy. It was the first three, they like kind of kept it a little reined in, but then just like nope.
Yeah.
Good storytelling. Just you got to go all in.
If you don't go bigger, what are you gonna do? I love your
You
little
make Resident Evil 7.
I love your little section you wrote about Wesker walking in the woods. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he spends a lot of time out there.
Yeah, so he hangs out in the woods to ponder because, like, let's be honest, like when you work out in the middle of fucking nowhere, what else are you gonna do?
And he's
Yeah.
he's 20 years old. He knows he's intelligent. He knows he's probably the coolest guy that's ever lived. He's got his sunglasses on. It's
He's
the
just
middle of the
like-
night.
Where all the babes at?
I can't see shit.
So he's out there hanging out, right? And he's like, man, why do I got to be out here? And he's like, well, I got to be out here because Spencer told me that we have to have this laboratory out in the middle of fucking nowhere because if this virus leaks out, then everything's going to be fucked, right? And just like the Ebola virus, it can only affect certain people, things, right? When your DNA changes, or when a virus can affect you, it can affect you because of your DNA. And when it mutates, it stops affecting you, which is essentially why viruses they can only affect certain things. Like, I think in there I have influenza can infect birds, but only like chickens and ducks.
Yeah.
You've got AIDS that affects monkeys as well as humans.
Turtles
and
can get
turtles can get
salmonella.
salmonella. So his mind of thinking is, well, what else can the T virus affect? So he starts like researching the communicative probabilities of the T virus and realizes, holy shit, it can infect everything. So it doesn't matter. You got plants, you got fish, you got reptiles, everything. And these are all of the bosses that are in Resident Evil 1.
Yeah.
You have your shark, you got your plant guy, you've got your
Spider.
giant snake, the spiders, all of it. Yeah. It's all able to be infected by the T virus.
Wesker's like, this is probably not a good spot.
No, this is so so when he's out there looking around, he's like, holy shit, there's plants out here, there's bears, there's everything that could get infected. All we need is like a fly to get infected and fly to the nearest town, aka Raccoon City, and that's it. We're done. Right? So
Yeah, game over.
At this point, he's like, I don't know who else knows this. Spencer has to know this. It's one of my theories is that I think Ashford also knew about it and was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. And the only way that I can study this virus and make sure it doesn't get out is if I move to Antarctica.
They're just zombie seals like running around.
Yeah, right.
Well, now that has an actual basis in reality. Like towards each of the poles, it's so cold that it keeps a lot of these viruses dormant for like millions of years.
So you're saying Florida's dangerous right now for Corona?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's dangerous no matter what you do.
Yeah, it's never like, is there an alligator in my pool? Right? It's when is the alligator going to be in my pool?
Okay, yeah.
Did you know Wesker did a PSA about the coronavirus?
No.
The voice actor's name is DC Douglas, and he just fucking hams it up on YouTube. It is so great. I'll play it for you guys later.
I'll tell you what, people get bored.
Especially when their character gets killed off. Yeah.
Spoilers.
Maybe. He also got killed off 5 times before that. So
Yeah.
He's got a
Can't believe
habit of
anything.
shaking that one off.
But
Yeah.
yeah, Wesker's realizing his limitations as being a researcher with Umbrella, so he's starting to think of possibilities for himself. 11 years pass. James Marcus is practicing the science of leeches, and he's able to make his claim to fame, the Queen Leech. And
Yes.
yes,
Yes,
Queen.
Queen.
That's the first thing he said after he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what I love about this game is because there's so much like 70s rock references, like Queen and like David Bowie and
Because the leech is actually a male, but it's the Queen Leech. Because
yeah.
you just like whenever they play Queen, the leech like kills harder.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I just love this subtle like whoever created this was just like I like Queen a lot and just like hit it very subtly. Like
yeah,
everyone thinks Billy has a tribal tattoo, but it's actually a giant Queen tattoo down his arm that says Mother Love.
I want to say it looks tribal in the artwork.
Oh, it's
though.
definitely tribal.
Okay.
It's hella tribal, but
Well,
it
if your
definitely-
tribal tattoo references Queen, isn't it still like a lame tribal tattoo?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what do you think that he describes it as, a tribal tattoo or a Queen tattoo?
He probably describes it as that one tattoo he got when he was too young, and he would have done it differently, but what do you do?
What do you do when you're in the military, right?
He's old enough to know better now than to get a tribal tattoo, hopefully. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. No, tribal tattoos are cool if you have them. Thanks for supporting us on Patreon. Thank you.
I'm going to disagree. It's fine.
Yeah, but Spencer doesn't like other people making breakthroughs. So this is Wesker and Birkin both get sent, but Wesker, it turns out, isn't just a smart dude. He's a badass dude, too. And they go kill the fuck out of this guy.
Yeah, they get him real good.
But it's actually, they were led by Hunk, which is kind of cool. This is Hunk's first time showing up, which I don't think he's had any character development other than he's just the badass leader of the military operations. The militia squad.
His name is Hunk. That's...
There's so many references in like each game, or I don't know if they just like link it together and be like, well, yeah, that's... Who knows if they even like had him in the actual footage, but they're like, no, Hunk led that whole operation.
I think it was an afterthought early on.
I'm sure it was.
But now they're just like, yep.
But this I want this guy to have a video game just like for his timeline, I think.
I think Mercenaries
I think that there is
pretty
one.
revolved around him. It's one of those it was one of those early service games. I think it was the early like 2010s. I'm going to say they made kind of a Call of Duty-esque thing, and Hunk was, I believe, a main character. I don't quote me on that. I did some research for this, not as much as I should have. But yeah.
So yeah, Wesker's starting to maybe sell a bit of his soul. Not only is he practicing some of the dangerous virus techniques for the greater good, because he's a good guy, but now he's also just like getting sent to assassinate people and throw bodies in rivers, which he does.
he gets his job done. Anything for that promo.
I just got to get up in this company, man. And they start working on the Tyrant Super Soldier project. They get the Nemesis, or they get the Tyrant stuff from Umbrella Europe.
Yeah, so it's the Nemesis Alpha parasite.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Now, what separates this from the T-virus?
so this is an actual parasite that links to your brain hole, and if you are able to create a tyrant and it's successfully attached to their brain without killing them, you basically have a controllable super soldier.
Which would be Nemesis.
Which can learn
Correct.
which can learn one word.
Stars.
Yeah. Well, it's actually the person that was turned into the Nemesis was a huge fan of Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Christ, Brad. Okay. I'll tell you that.
I'm out there today.
I like your zest today. It's working.
I'm gonna grab
for
another
me.
beer. I need to catch up
Sagging.
Everyone made of stars.
And he's just trying to talk science to everyone and just killing him because he just looks a little different.
Yeah, I mean, he is technically like hitting you with giant tentacles.
But so Wesker gets the Nemesis Alpha, and his first thought is, well, we got that Lisa Trevor.
Strapped to a bed for the last 18 years or whatever the fuck it is, yeah.
And they give the Nemesis Alpha to Lisa, and a unique side effect is she actually regains some of her mental faculties again, and she's able to be somewhat conscious, which leads to her killing pretty much every female scientist and cutting their face off. Great.
I mean, goes around, comes around.
Oh, yeah. I think Lisa Trevor, I forgot that she was in the first RE1, the remake. And just like looking back into it, I'm like, that's such a unique, not like a Mr. X or a Nemesis. It's just like this lady that's just like super deformed and coming to kill the shit out of you. I think that's much scarier.
I forgot she existed too.
Doesn't stop. Like,
Well, and then, the nutty thing is like in that game, you're just in an underground mine all of a sudden, and then she's just there, and you're like, what the fuck? What is this?
Yeah.
And then she just keeps showing up, which is the best part about that. And you're like, who are you, and what is this? And unless you like read all the files, which is like the best part about Resident Evil in my mind, is like,
Really, the files?
just the fact that there's all this lore that goes to it that is completely unnecessary.
I do like that. I'm a Dark Souls person,
I was gonna
so
say, it's
I
proto-Dark
understand.
Souls.
Yeah.
If you want to know more, there's always more available to you, and I can dig it. And I mean,
not the best part, but it is a.
No, I know.
When you're a type of person like me who, when you're playing a video game, has to look in like every drawer, nook and cranny sort of thing, and you end up finding all
Skyrim
these.
must have been hell for you.
So many wheels of cheese.
Yeah.
He's almost out of the first city now. Yeah. Almost out of
The small
Windhelm.
dumb one. Yeah, it's
But yeah, Lisa's immune system fights back because she's got the progenitor and then the T virus, which came out of her. And then with the Nemesis Alpha, her immune system fights back, and Birkin is able to isolate a new virus from Lisa Trevor, the Golgotha virus, which becomes known as the G virus.
So that's 2 letters down.
Yeah.
We're 2 down.
2 down, but 3
way to
viruses
go.
altogether
Yeah,
so far.
unless
with
you
the
call the
progenitor.
progenitor virus the P virus, but I
No,
think they
that-
tried to stay away from that P, you know?
It's red sometimes.
God, Jesus, Brad. Today, whoa,
Bada bang.
Yas Queen,
And
get him.
this is where the story actually begins in Resident Evil. It is the summer of 1998, and there's a slew of killings up in the Arklay mountain range where hikers are reportedly eaten alive. This is due to an unexpected leak in the T-virus. Wesker is not sure what the fuck's going on. Umbrella locks down the facility with employees and all of them locked inside to stop the spread. Sorry, you're done. And stars are sent in to...
I'm sure they signed some papers. It's fine.
You said we could kill you.
You didn't read the terms of service?
No vacation days. We can kill you.
There's even a human centipede clause. I mean, I don't know how people miss this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There is actually a giant centipede in this franchise, so
Is
that's
there?
a very
I was just thinking, is there a centipede?
In Zero, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Queen.
Go off.
But not only are this like Umbrella fucks up bad, like this is a bad thing, and they're also like, well, it's already happening. We should probably get a lot of research done while we're doing this.
Yeah.
It seems like they don't care that much. Like this seemed like an inevitability to them.
Well, and like to speak good about them, they're going to make the most out of a bad
Yeah,
situation.
yeah. They really turned it into a learning process after this.
This Wesker's got a mission now that the virus is out and it's in the Arklay Mountains. The mission is sacrifice the STARS team to the mutants for combat data and eliminate them all as witnesses. Collect the remaining BOW embryos if he has a chance, and to destroy the Arklay laboratory to wipe out all traces of the virus. And this is where Resident Evil 0 kicks in. Bravo team gets sent in. Wesker fucks with their helicopter beforehand. He's doing his job. He's a company man, and I'm really behind Wesker on this one.
Yeah.
It seems like it.
This is
Jeez.
some fucked up shit. He's
Yeah.
basically like causes engine failure so that they cannot leave and so that the rest of the stars have to go after them.
Yep.
What a diabolical motherfucker.
I mean,
It's-
he's
Straight away.
it's just like master stroke after master stroke for him most of the time. Like things really don't go wrong for him very often. He's normally, 3 or 4 steps ahead.
Well,
And even when they do go wrong, he's already able to just recover from a rocket to the face because he's thought ahead because he's playing 5D chess.
Yeah.
oh yeah, he's one of those people.
He's one of those gods, is what you meant to say.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, his eyes glow. That's God, right?
That's sign number 1.
I didn't realize until doing the research that he actually had the cat eyes.
Yeah.
And now I only can see Mac from Always Sunny going for gasps and Dayman versus Nightman. I'm going for gasps. Well,
I mean, I saw the movie Cats. It's pretty rough.
Oh God!
oh
It's
no.
Why? Why would you do that?
Because it's
so
funny.
bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Rebecca Chambers is on a train of undead Umbrella employees. There's Billy Cohen.
There's leeches everywhere.
That's the biggest part of Resident Evil 0 for the overall plot. And this is when they were going off the deep end with the story. This is after Code Veronica when 0 came out.
Yeah.
they really like with a big ass fist just was like lore, blam, and just like they just like sock you in the face with it, and you're just like, I don't fucking care.
Do you guys like zombies? Because we got a queen leech. It's like that doesn't.
It's just
not
like,
what we
that
asked
doesn't make
for.
any fucking
doesn't make
sense.
sense.
Now, I mean, if you think about Resident Evil as being called Biohazard originally, there's almost kind of like, I just wish it was called Biohazard. I think Resident Evil is one of the dumbest names ever. I think it's dumb.
Do you know how it became that?
It was,
which is even dumber.
Yeah, I know. They were just like, hey, someone else.
Contest, best
in
name wins. Resident Evil. Oh, okay,
it takes place in a house.
Well, it makes sense for the first game.
And there was an
Yeah.
evil.
Yeah.
And there were residents.
The Resident Evil. Ugh. Biohazard is such a good name. I just wish that a band wasn't named Biohazard in the US, so they could have just called it that.
So it turns out after they threw James Marcus's body in the river with his leech project at the same time, the leeches,
This will get rid of it.
he hasn't moved for almost a minute. Just throw him in the river. Turns out the leeches assimilated all of Marcus's memories and his DNA.
Because convenience for the plot.
Well, I mean, if you need to have a body of leeches pretending to be a younger version of one of the founders in a zombie game,
Who looks like David Bowie.
this is the only way to do it.
Yeah. Oh,
Now,
yeah.
what would you call it when something can like take your memories and put it into something else? It's almost like I'm trying to think of like epigenetics.
Sounds like an Arnold Schwarzenegger film.
No, that's Gattaca. I'm just kidding. It just weirds me out that it's just like, oh no, they got his memories somehow. It's like, okay, what the fuck does that have to do with?
It leached onto his brain.
And there's no proof that even memories are stored within the brain. So whatever, it's fine. I'm bringing my knowledge to the table.
Hey, that's fine, man. I don't know how it works either.
No one does apparently.
But yes, the Queen Leech, who is a young James Marcus, who loves Queen's third album, he is there, and that's like the big baddie. A lot of things happen. Billy Cohen gets to be pretend killed so he can go be safe because he was a prisoner. Rebecca Chambers ultimately ends up continuing the next game, but her character retires into a different career after this. And Wesker, though, after dealing with the madness that was James Marcus, this is when he has the moment like, Umbrella's fucked. Like, they're not going to recover from this. I need to have an exit strategy. Him and Birkin talk about it, and they make the decision that Birkin and him will part ways. Birkin will go back and retrieve the G virus research and activate the self-destruct function, and Wesker's just going to dip out and try and get the BOW embryos and still kind of continue the mission, but also first chance he gets, he's going to do something else.
Screw over Umbrella.
Screw over Umbrella.
Yeah.
The place goes boom, and Wesker slips back to the RCPD to join Alpha Team, and that was the end of Resident Evil 0. At this point, we're going to take a quick break to hear from some of the other amazing shows from the Greenlit Podcast Network and Albert Wesker's Old Spice ad, because it's a thing that exists.
What?
We'll be right back, everybody.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped relying on imperfect human DNA and injected himself with Ouroboros, he could kill like me. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a volcano. With the man your man could kill like. What's on your arm? Back at me. I have it. It's morphing precious metal from that favorite jewelry of yours. Look again. Your jewelry is now a giant avant-garde phallic symbol. Anything is possible when your man injects Ouroboros instead of living on measly human DNA. I'm eating rockets.
Look over here. Now look back at me. Subscribe. You're going to like the podcast. We're raw fucking dogs.
Do you think he does cameo?
No, I looked into it.
Oh,
I'm surprised he doesn't, because that guy seems like he will throw on that voice whenever
he
someone's like...
seems to have a good sense of humor about himself
Yeah.
too. So it's like,
He put out one of his YouTube videos. He put out like hey, everybody, I'm Albert Wesker, and I need you to send me your dirtiest, like, erotic fan fiction that I'm going to read at a convention. So he's reading as Albert Wesker, like, fan erotic fiction about
Albert
Okay,
Wesker.
so, like, where do we get tickets to this?
Yeah, right.
DC, if you're listening, we want in.
I'll be there front row, man.
Dylan will write it.
I will write it, actually. Actually, I think I could do a really good job. Who is it? Who's he with, though, like, within the series?
Oh, Jill?
Excelligione. I mean...
I'm thinking Barry.
His stepsister, Alex?
Oh, so wait. So Barry and Wesker make a Jill sandwich is what you're saying?
No, just them. Just the two of them.
Hey.
Like, forget your family.
You want some of my I'll give you my virus.
Forget your family. I won't kill them, but I love you.
Nick, what happens in the first Resident Evil game?
Yeah, explain it. Explain that to us.
Oh God, I don't.
What do
know.
you remember?
I played this game when I was like 8 or something like
You
that.
were like fucking 3.
I was young, and I very specifically remember the hallway with the dogs that jumped through the window. That one really messed with me. The lickers got to me. I don't really remember a lot of the plot of the game, to be entirely honest. I just like that there were puzzles, and every once in a while I got a spooky. Like,
I'm happy you brought up liquors because the virus isn't just like reanimating humans. It's able to rewrite their DNA because they actually start mixing it with other animals to try and make it more compatible and last longer. And that's why you have a thing like a liquor. Like, otherwise, why would it just know to make a long tongue for you and remove your skin?
It's because it's like a chameleon.
Overall, though, the first Resident Evil game is the most straightforward Resident Evil game. It's got like
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Makes the most.
It makes.
sense.
I was gonna say, it makes the most sense.
The second one also to some degree, but then after that, you're right. It's completely dog shit bonkers. But
yeah, once like 3 started, like we're gonna do a prequel sequel. It's like, all right, slow down here, George Lucas.
which we all saw how well all of that went.
I love the prequels. You all.
I don't hate them.
I don't hate them, but in comparison to standard of movie,
I was trying to be controversial for no reason.
Mostly, there's the Spencer Mansion. We see Chris and Jill. Barry's also there. You see Rebecca Chambers again.
Well, the core story is that you're the second team being sent in. The Spencer Mansion is in the Arklay Mountains, and your helicopter gets downed. And
Because of pilot Brad Vickers.
Well, so it does. That's Resident Evil 0.
No.
But they actually land there.
Oh, okay.
And then get overtaken by mutant dogs.
zombie dogs.
You can
and-
see where I would get confused,
Yes,
though.
absolutely.
Because
the
it
important
wouldn't
point,
even-
though, is that pilot Brad Vickers just nopes the fuck out and ditches
Oh
everybody.
yeah, the
He
second
comes
the
back
dog-
at the end.
Well,
The true MVP.
yeah.
He's like, what's that
Here's-
thing? And they're
here's my
like,
favorite
just
part
don't
about
worry about it. Get him whirling.
My favorite part about this is he dips out when the dogs show up to go back to Raccoon City to pick up a rocket launcher to get rid of the dogs in hopes that everyone will have survived that moment.
You got to use those.
There's like one bad dog's like, I'm getting the rocket launcher.
Listen, homie.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you.
don't know.
I mean, square peg, round hole. It's
I had to shoot the dog with... He looked at me. I had to shoot the dog with a rocket launcher.
it seems right. You just have to make sure it doesn't bite anyone.
Here's
He
the
ain't biting no one now.
here's the first red
know he
flag
said
of this
that.
whole game where it comes back around to Wesker, where these dogs show up. Wesker knows exactly where to shoot him,
Yeah.
and then says, after he shoots him, says, Chris, this way, and then beelines it towards the mansion in the middle of a forest that none of them have ever been to, and knows exactly where the front door to this mansion is. And just walks inside, and nobody says a fucking thing.
And you're in a mansion where you don't know what's going on, and there's like zombies. Everyone's like, well, let's split up hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then you meet up with Barry multiple times. He's like, good to see you. We should split up.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Nothing weird about that.
No.
It's well, maybe we should stay together. Like, there's no reason.
Nope. Wesker's got my family, and he's gonna kill him. So I definitely need to dip out here because of that.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, it's you solve all these puzzles, you uncover the secret of the Spencer Mansion, and then at the end you face Tyrant, which is the
Well, and Tyrant was released by probably the coolest character in the game series, Albert Wesker. Well, Albert Wesker, before being sent in, was given a sample of the T virus, and he injects himself with it before he unleashes the Tyrant, because he's going in there to collect the embryos and like do his own little shit, and also make sure the stars get killed. But you're there when he unleashes the Tyrant, and the first thing the Tyrant does is kill Wesker when it comes out, but luckily he had taken the T-virus, so he's got plot armor.
that's the way to that's the right way to put it.
Yeah.
Is it plot armor when he actually got? Never mind.
Well, when they
never mind. I'm not going to say what I.
When they retconned that he had gotten the T-virus. Yes.
For the most part, you would call that like Deus Ex Machina if we're actually talking about like a trope.
Yeah.
It would be Deus Ex Machina, but it's also just like that's the thing about most fiction. If you don't see the character die and they don't have like a long extended scene, rarely are they ever dead. Yeah. It's like whenever I watch movies, I ruin it for people. I'm like, that person's not fucking dead.
Yeah, if they don't
like I can
spend
just tell.
time on it, or
it's like when Thanos snaps his fingers and everyone in the audience is like, oh, what happened? I'm like, they're not going to just kill Spider-Man, you dumbasses. Like, it's like, and they're not going to kill the best character, Albert Wesker.
No.
They're just not going to kill him. Like, why would you get rid of a villain like this when you haven't established anyone beyond him? It's like killing Darth Vader before getting to the Emperor. It wouldn't make sense.
You're going through this mansion, you're like, what's going on here? And there's a picture of a scientist wearing sunglasses, and you're like,
He looks familiar.
I think I know that guy from somewhere.
who else wears sunglasses all the time?
And slicks back his blonde hair.
Oh, hey, Albert. What's going on?
We should split up.
Oddly, it's in black and white, and it's just like, can't take a color photo? What the fuck?
And also, this is, again, everything self-destructs at the end. Birkin is a downward spiral. He becomes paranoid without Wesker around, so he's like, fuck it, I'm selling my research to the government. Umbrella sends the militia squad in with Hunk to kill him before they could take him alive. He is shot, takes the T-virus. They take the T-virus and the G-virus, but Birkin also had the G-virus and injected himself. And so now there is a big bad boy. I think just call him G in Resident Evil 2. Yeah.
You don't know it's G until Sherry straight up calls him Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he spills the T-virus from the water supply of Raccoon City. Some rats eat it, and Resident Evil 2 happens. We don't need to go into too much plot because the most important character, Albert Wesker, he doesn't do a lot in this game. He is kind of getting ready for his next moves. He's plotting. He's trying to figure out the best thing.
He's probably
to happen.
regenerating because he blew up.
Well, okay. Let's actually an important point. End of Resident Evil. He does before the mansion blows up. He comes to, and he has to fight Lisa Trevor on the way out. Yeah.
Wild.
Before he ultimately escapes.
He basically drops a chandelier on her head and then bolts out of there and outruns the explosion.
Why does the T-virus
Right.
meld with him? Do you remember?
I think it's because he has the progenitor virus coursing through his veins already.
Okay.
So it's like one thing. So
Because he was like vaccinated for the progenitor.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's his second dose, as they say.
son of a bitch.
So he
Topical.
Bill Gates. Speaking of the Q
5G.
virus, the 5G virus.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 3 kind of happens next.
Kind of.
Jill Valentine is around. She's getting chased by Nemesis. Blah, blah, blah. She kills it several times. She's knocked out. Resident Evil 2, Electric Boogaloo.
The video game equivalent of a car chase. Like,
Well, so the important thing of Resident Evil 3 is she gets infected from Nemesis halfway through the game.
yeah.
And then
That's
Carlos, who's the second character in this, comes in and finds the vaccine for the T-virus and gives it to her. So at this point, she's the only person in the entire world that is immune to the T virus and has antibodies for it. And
Didn't he just find the vaccine in a fridge?
It's just, well, he goes to the hospital and
He's looking for a beer.
look.
yeah, and he
yeah.
just he basically just finds it sitting there in a fridge,
like,
which
hey,
it says
you
vaccine
think there
on
would
it.
be like a puzzle to get it out, but you literally just walk into a walk-in fridge and it's right there. It's wild. I
Yeah.
mean, granted, there's like hunters and liquors and shit to get to that fridge, but I mean, if you're a mercenary or a umbrella militia team squad member, you know
So
how to
now,
get
hold on.
around
Now
that.
we do have to establish how the T virus is spread between individuals, because I was reading your thing, and Ebola is done through human contact, so like touch. This one is by bite. The typical zombie.
Right. So this
trope.
one actually got spread because it leaked into the water.
And so people drank
So
it, so
when-
it was
yeah.
almost like
So when that militia team went after Birkin, they took it. He injected himself, and then he still had the knowledge enough to go after them, killed them all. He actually eats the G virus and then smashes the T virus that leaks into the water source.
Yeah.
And then everybody's just drinking it. But also some rats are eating it at the same time.
And the
those rats will go out.
The rats weren't wearing masks either.
And the rats go out. So
think of how many you have to make.
again with the file things, you read all these files of newspaper articles
Yeah.
where it's like random people are just biting each other.
Being goofy.
And that's
It's not bath salt. This
I
time.
think that's the rats getting to the people before the water does.
Sure, that would make sense though.
Yeah. So
So if they're ravenous, they're going to spread it between each. They're going to spread it between the rats. But if they're particularly aggressive, like they're just going to crawl up your drain and
right.
fuck your butt up.
So if you've seen the movie Quarantine, it's a bit like that.
Sure, yeah.
Honestly, Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine, I don't think are super exciting protagonists. They're just kind of run of the mill. We're heroes.
White girl, white boy.
White girl, white boy. And Resident Evil 2, I do love Leon Kennedy is kind of like, I'm too old for this shit in reverse. It slid on my
also-
first day on the job.
Yeah.
And
He's also
way
kind
too
of
old
a
for it.
dork.
Yeah.
Which is funny because
Yeah.
he's a rookie,
Yeah.
yet he knows how to kick somebody in the face like nobody's business.
I mean,
He plays
And
video
on my
games.
first
Yeah.
day too.
he is, I would hope, inarguably the second best character
Actually, I'm still
Bio-
going to say first.
And his,
by a wide margin, following up Albert Wesker.
his character's got a fun arc in the story where I think Chris kind of is boring, and then he goes through
Yeah.
an alcoholic amnesiatic stage. I think 8 might be when Chris gets interesting, maybe. But
End of 7.
And Claire Redfield's pretty cool too. Just like the little sister who's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm running my motorcycle in to find my brother.
I'm supposed to be in college right now.
In the remake, all the character interaction she has with Leon is literally like they're like it's all just fuck me eyes. It's
Well,
literally just like they're looking at each
But
other.
they're too young. They're too young. They don't know how to properly just say
Yeah.
fuck me. They're like,
She's hot.
"Oh."
He's handsome.
I mean, yeah,
I would
But
too.
he's also a cop. Women aren't attracted to that.
Well, but
Not
Leon,
anymore. But in the 90s, oh my God, a man in uniform, bazinga, swing.
Leon just doesn't know how to make a move, and he gets so frustrated he tries to bang the next lady he sees, Ada Wong.
Well, that's not frustration. He just knows what's up.
I mean, how can it be Wong if it feels so right?
fuck off. Bro. Did you write that down?
No, he's on
Do you
fire.
have these at the
Nah,
ready?
he's on fire.
God, fuck.
I wrote 2 Ada Wong puns later in the outline. But
Son of a bitch.
2 Wongs don't make her right.
God, you are firing on all cylinders.
that's when there's the clone.
I put
Oh,
two
yeah,
in
in
front as
6.
well.
Yeah, that'll be in the next
Jesus
episode.
Christ, dude. I'm into
me
it.
up.
Ada Wong might just be a journalist, investigator, FBI agent. She might be. Or she might be a spy, but we don't know who she's working for. But
Maybe the least interesting character. Every time she shows up, I'm like, I don't care.
it's like Indiana Jones 4, that one character who just betrays everyone all the time. It's like, we don't give a fuck about you anymore. Just
Leon Kennedy can't take a shit without Ada Wong fucking kicking the door in and just being there for no reason.
But when she does, he's like, "Oh, hi, good to see you. Let me just wipe
what are
real
you
quick."
doing here?
Pretty good.
I'm taking a shit. That's what I'm doing here.
Oh, you're in Spain
that's
too,
'cause he's
looking for the
obviously
president's
trying to get
daughter.
back
Oh, okay.
He's just that horny that like Ada could literally fuck him over every chance. He's still like, "I forgive you, babe."
Dude, you know he fucks, but he likes to wait just long enough so it feels real good.
And
Just mish.
And you know he takes
straight mish.
no,
he takes-
dude, he's doggy.
he takes too
You seen
long.
the president's daughter?
Leon!
You guys remember that made-for-TV Disney film, My Date with the President's Daughter?
Fuck no.
I sure do with Sinbad.
Not with Sinbad. It's Eric Matthews, Corey's older brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No, I don't.
Sinbad might be in there, but
I think Sinbad is a different
He has a-
president.
Bitch, I didn't have cable. You fucking rich pieces of shit. Living in an RV. I don't know your life that much.
working at
And
a
then
bar.
you,
What?
Captain Glass, is over here.
I do have glasses. That's the thing that I do.
It's me being like the most non-offensive and insulting.
you're surrounded by glasses wearers right now.
Oh,
okay.
shit.
Yeah.
Notice.
G gets killed.
They're the best part of my face.
William Birkin's daughter gets saved by Claire and Leon. They fuck off. At the end of this story is when Ada Wong opens a door to a dingy hotel called the Apple Inn.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Gates, Q virus. You do the math.
You mean Steve Jobs?
It's connected.
It's all connected.
They were selling it to the competitor.
5G. China.
She sees her handler dead, and he's committed suicide due to the situation of Raccoon City. On a computer screen is Wesker. He provides Ada with a grappling hook, and
Cool.
Okay,
here's a
hold on.
hook, Ada.
Can we talk about this?
Yes.
So Ada Wong walks into a hotel room. This is not a joke.
That's what I was going to say. Why the long face? Got it. Yes.
And sees the
Why
guy
the
that
Wong
she's
face?
Oh, Fred. No. You son of a bitch. No.
I would say it to Ada every time I saw her.
Oh, man.
so good.
Oh,
That was so
okay.
good.
Okay.
And sees the guy that she's supposed to be giving this G virus to, and there's Wesker just hanging out on a webcam, staring at this guy. How long has he been there?
Long time.
Did he watch it happen?
He's probably like,
Like-
everything's fucked. You should just get out of here and end it.
Yeah, was he the reason behind? Like, it blows my mind, this part of the story, where I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what kind of twisted, weird mind do you have where you're just cool watching a dead guy on a webcam hang out? Like, that's some dark web shit.
And it says he provides Ada with a grappling hook. So
yeah.
did he send a grappling hook there? Or was it there and did he actually kill the guy and like drop it off?
Or did he
I
just
think-
like carrying around a grappling hook?
I think ultimately he was behind hiring the guy that hired Ada. And
But then killed him.
then
So he was a cipher.
knew that the government was going to blow up Raccoon City, so he sent her grappling hook to hook onto a helicopter at some point. Hopefully that it would be leaving, which it
Which also,
luckily did.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. You're putting a lot of faith in the fact that people would know how to use this item.
hold on now. Have you seen the 90s Batman animated TV show?
I still have nightmares.
He's trained by fucking ninjas.
Well, and instead, I just
Robin's not.
I think about FF7 and just
one?
Barrett's big body just holding on to a little grappling gun shooting
Oh,
around.
dude, later on, so much grappling hook. They're like, they just can't climb. They got to use a grappling hook. I'm like,
I
oh
think
my
this was
fucking
just
God.
like an explanation as to how she got it in the first place.
City goes boom.
Did it go bye-bye?
Wesker is able to retrieve the Red Queen hard drive from Umbrella, and they escape on a helicopter, and they escape from Retcon City, is what was in the outline.
That's funny.
Recap.
I like that.
So right now, Wesker has the progenitor virus, the T virus, and the G virus, and he's just collecting at this point. Meanwhile, back at Nap Camp, Carlos and Jill wake up. They fight the Nemesis. City blows up, and they take off. 3 months later in Old Paris, Claire is infiltrating a branch of the Umbrella Company, hoping to find her brother Chris. She is captured and sent to Rockford Island. Chris is really not good at keeping in contact with his sister.
no, not at all.
Until they need to conveniently text each other, which they can
Yeah.
later in the game.
Well, yeah, we'll get to it. But it's ridiculous.
So Resident Evil 0 was the James Marcus story. Resident Evil Code Veronica is the Alfred Ashford story in
Edward Ashford.
Edward Ashford and Alfred and Alexia and
Oh my God. All of them.
All of the Ashfords.
Yes.
Even, spoiler, Veronica Ashford.
This was supposed to be Resident Evil 3.
All right. Dom,
Yes.
Explain the plot.
explain the plot of Code Veronica.
All right, here we
Good
go.
luck.
So she ends up on the island.
Okay.
She gets woken by a complete loud noise called a bomb. And gets set free because the guy who captured her is like, this island's fucked now. There's zombies wandering around. Good luck, bitch. Here you go. Here's the keys. See you later. Bye.
Okay.
She gets to the surface. He's right. There's zombies fucking everywhere. This girl cannot catch a break. None of these characters can catch a break in any of this shit. Every single time we meet up with these characters, a zombie outbreak happens. Obviously, convenience for the plot. However, she continues on, meets Steve Burnside.
Sick.
Do you
A
remember,
Canadian. For some reason,
Wait, but-
there's a Canadian on this island.
do you remember what you described him as in this?
A Canadian with a crush.
A Canadian with a crush.
He
Oh, you want to go see a movie, eh?
he plays hard to get in this game throughout the entire game.
Until he has that rapey scene.
Yeah, until they get to that point. So things happen. He plays hard to get. They meet up at some point. He's playing on a computer, finds out that her brother is being like heavily surveyed by Umbrella.
Yep.
For some reason. Probably because he knows what happened at
Because Chris,
the
is a,
Spencer
Chris
Mansion.
is a survivor. Yeah,
Yeah.
they want to close all those loose
Yeah.
ends.
And so,
Who sent the zombies to Rockford Island?
well, so the bomb went off and unleashed the virus. However, it was Albert Wesker who was behind the attack, right?
Brad just
So-
did like a fist.
Well, I mean, you say attack. I'd say it's the salvation of the planet, but
So this is what doesn't make sense about this whole story. Well, this particular game is bonkers just in itself, but
I find it almost incomprehensible.
the fact that
absolutely. Even if you know what's going on, it's
the
incomprehensible.
fact that this Canadian guy probably could, well, okay, so he's there because his dad works on the island and he's going to find his dad, but he somehow gets access to the computer, finds out that Chris is heavily surveyed, and tells Claire, hey, your brother's like under heavy surveillance. So she goes, oh, well, let me text my friend Leon to text my brother to tell him where I am so he can come rescue
Leon
us.
is not comfortable sharing phone numbers. He says he needs to get permission first. He said it's against the policy that
I
he has.
just don't understand this part.
I'm going to Paris to find my brother. I'm not going to give you his phone number.
Also, another thing I don't understand, she later on meets this guy, Alfred, who is in control.
I love Alfred so
who's
much.
in control of this island. He immediately accuses her, of all people,
And then
probably
he-
because she's the only one alive.
And then he immediately denies cross-dressing and being a woman.
Yeah. The other thing, as like a biologist, that I don't understand about this situation is the fact that they're clones, and it was like a zygote gone awry, and it spliced and made a perfect clone of Veronica, who her dad,
Who's
Alex,
always at war with
who is-
Betty.
Yeah, right. Her dad, Alex, found underneath their estate, just like dug her up and was like, I'm gonna clone her. Granted, she was like super smart and wanted like a super smart daughter,
Yeah.
but it spliced and also made a clone boy, which, if you know anything about chromosomes and biology, that's physically impossible because a boy has a Y chromosome and a girl has two X chromosomes, and you cannot just like make a Y chromosome out of nothing
That's development. It's developmental anyway. It's something that happens by
when you're
not a-
cloning somebody.
Viruses.
No, not by cloning. That's not what I'm saying. But like, especially when you're, I understand what
Yeah.
you're saying. I was trying to agree with you in a
okay.
in a weird way. Yes.
It didn't make any sense to me.
No.
But-
Because if you're cloning, obviously you would be the same gender.
Right.
Gender, we put in quotation marks, whatever.
Claire makes it to a
I don't want
house.
to be controversial.
Claire makes it to a house and hears Alfred and Alexia arguing, which is great. This is straight.
yeah.
This is straight out of Psycho.
Yeah.
Yes. But wait, isn't she dead? She isn't, or is she? And
What is this, Metal Gear Solid 2? Jesus.
Yeah, because at this point we know that she has died, and that's why Birkin started not being an insane person.
and there's like a fresh wound on Alfred has a fresh wound exactly where Alexia just had a wound, and Alfred's wearing makeup, and Claire's like, wait a second.
Yeah. I think he's pretending to be both.
Twins have supernatural properties. That's got to be it.
We got a real Ed
when
Gein thing.
when she puts on makeup, it just appears on him.
So he's passing.
But this is like the beginning of the game still. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because so much happens.
I've never played this game.
We're not
I've
even halfway.
I am.
The-
I'm telling you this.
So I will say this, and you can cut this out if you want, but I don't know why they're remaking 4. I think they should remake this one.
I would love.
And
They're not remaking 4. They're just making a VR version of it.
right,
Yeah,
but
it's remake,
I think
though,
they're
that's what they
wasting their
call it.
time on doing that because I still, even though you think it's unplayable, it's on every console for a reason.
For
for
just
VR
give modern control scheme and be playable immediately.
right.
Well, if you had a Wii remote,
And also it is a more action oriented game, which I think lends itself more to the VR experience. Like Veronica's a bit more
fixed camera.
Don't get me wrong.
Crunchy.
I wish I had a PC and an Oculus Rift 2 and a Facebook account just so I could play it.
Yeah,
But I don't have any of those things. So I'm SOL.
So Claire and Steve get on a plane and they leave the island. Unbeknownst to them, though, Alfred is following them in an F-150 fighter jet. He overtakes them, turns on the autopilot, and steers them to Antarctica.
So this is where
Steve
yeah.
also's like making a move here.
Yeah. So
He puts on
because
some
it's a-
Dave Matthews Band, pours a lot of wine.
more rapey.
satellite. Yeah, no. So she passes out because it's a
I've been to
flight
10
to.
Dave concerts. How many have you been to, Claire?
I prefer fish.
So she passes out because it's a literal flight to Antarctica. And while she's passed out, he's like, I'm gonna try and get some kisses on. And he literally tries to get some kisses on. It took him so long to build up the courage to get there. And then he was almost at
gotta wait
Antarctica
till
by the
she's
point
asleep.
that this happened. And like the alarm went off and it was like, you're approaching your final destination. And that's where he was like, oh, and because she woke up right when it happens. It's real rapey and gross.
Yeah, there's nothing nice about
No,
that.
it's so weird.
They make it to Antarctica and they run into Papa Ashford, Alexander, who has been transformed into a hideous monster called the Nosferatu. They ride off on a snowmobile into a sunset, but wait, there's more. Turns out Alfred is alive and is in a lab of some kind where he pushes a button and falls in front of a woman floating in a Bacta tank as it drains and her eyes open to see Alfred die before her. It's Alexia. Turns out he was doubling as her, and she was in a cryogenic slumber as she sleeps off the effect of the most advanced version of the progenitor virus yet, known as the T. Veronica, which she created, and she slowly acclimated to it over 15 years. That's why she was in the slumber for so long.
Right.
And then Chris is back, baby.
Chris is back.
Chris is back.
Chris is back, and he's wearing his same uniform that he was wearing in Raccoon City.
never changed.
in the
so
mansion. He hasn't changed in 3 whole months, but he was in Paris, so it's fine.
Yeah. There's
In Paris,
probably
they like it
washes
when you're
laundry.
stinky.
Yes.
You smell like the cheese.
Yes.
They're not known for their couture.
Well, and then Chris is on Rockford Island, and this is when he runs into Wesker.
Oh yeah, baby.
And Wesker, like, he's so cool. Just in general, I have nowhere to go with that.
He's
like
also
Wesker.
very handsome.
He's very handsome and he's got style.
He's got cat eyes.
Wesker,
Some people really like that shit.
Wesker has gotten to the point of having a massive hate on for Chris.
Oh yeah.
Chris is officially Wesker's biggest enemy and the thing he hates more than anything in the world.
instead of saying Burton, now he goes, Chris.
He's like,
Character development,
What's up,
right?
Wesky baby? Is what Chris says when he walks in. This is quality. He runs into a completely undead Wesker, which is a surprise to him. And
Yeah, because the last time he saw him, he had a fucking 2-foot claw go through his chest. So yeah.
And not only that, he can now utilize super combat skills and speed because he's got the virus flowing through his body. And Chris punches him in the face, and his glasses are removed for the first time ever, revealing his cat eyes.
Yeah.
They're orange and red.
And
He's that much of a predator.
Yeah. Yeah. They look crazy.
I mean, yeah, no, he looks like he is a demon. Like,
Yeah.
that's totally the image
great.
they're invoking. And yeah, it works.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so then they all go to Antarctica to meet up with Claire and them. Alexia's the big bad guy.
Right. So at this point, Wesker's there because he's trying to find Alexa and her T Veronica virus. And Chris is there because he's looking for Claire, which, again, why?
Could have been literally anyone.
Yeah, no, like, all they had to really... They have this... I don't understand why they have to contact Leon in order to contact each other.
And what's
Doesn't make any
Leon
sense.
doing?
He's just hanging out on the couch
You know,
watching...
people were curious.
He's probably just following Ada Wong around, to be honest.
I'm so horny.
But anyway, they all end up in Antarctica.
Yeah, Alexia is the big bad guy. They all fight. Long story short, Alexia gets killed. Wesker fucks off. This time he's got the T Veronica virus as well, so he's gotten every virus. Self-destruct. Everyone lives except Alexia, who dies. Wesker's got everything.
Son of a bitch.
The next... Okay, I'm going to just go through this one quick.
Yeah.
The next one is called Where in the World is Wesker? Wesker sells a sample of the T. Veronica virus to a South American drug lord obsessed with plants named Javier Hidalgo, which forces Leon and his partner Jack Krauser to go track him down. They track down this. Krauser's arm is injured during the scuffle, so he can no longer perform his duties. So he starts working with Wesker because he just needs somewhere to work. Oh my God, there's so much in here.
Jack Krauser.
Essentially, I think it's just kind of setting up some of RE4 and the fact that Wesker is going to be working with Excelligione soon for Tricell. There's a lot. He doesn't work for Umbrella anymore, but
No, he's working for the organization at this point. So yeah, after his arm gets injured, he calls Wesker because he sees what happens in this mission and what the potentiality of the T virus and the T Veronica virus has, and he knows that Wesker was a part of it, so he calls him and he's basically like, give me a job, please help me. And that's that situation with Wesker, essentially.
yeah. You put down it's pronounced Ibiza, not Ibiza?
Yes, I absolutely hate when people tell me it's pronounced Ibiza.
Ibiza.
I know it's pronounced Ibiza, but there's a Z in it, and I'm American, not Spanish, so I'm going to pronounce it
Whenever
Ibiza.
someone tells me it's Melbourne, not Melbourne, I said, I had hooked on phonics as a child, and I know what words sound like. I don't care if you want to erase
You
it.
and I are same.
I will
they were
sound it out.
They're hooked on didgeridoos, man.
Whoa. Yeah.
What's
We
up?
all just lean in.
What's up, lame dog
Melbourne.
dad?
Yeah. So the reason I put that is because now
Sorry, you're dumb.
we're in Spain, and Leon's there looking for Ashley Graham.
He's looking for the president's daughter, the Las Plagas. So the Las Plagas is going crazy in this village. Wesker sends Ada Wong to go get a sample. Leon is there to try and save the president's daughter. She's been kidnapped in order to be infected, to go back and infect the president with the Las Plagas, which is a more malleable form of the virus where you can retain some of your mental abilities and also be controlled. Leon Kennedy saves the president's daughter.
Well, it takes a little bit longer for it to actually weasel its way into your like prefrontal cortex and actually start controlling your movements and memories and stuff.
Love how much science is going on in this.
Uh,
Love it.
because later, because early in the game when you get headshots and the heads explode, nothing happens. But then later, it's literally just a giant tentacle monster will shoot out and start waving around. So it kind of implies that it takes a little bit longer for it to actually, like like when animals have worms or humans have worms. It just takes a while for them to grow. They're living creatures more than anything.
So yeah, Wesker's in the background in this game for sure.
You only see him
Just
over
laughing.
You see him like talk with Ada a couple times.
Yeah,
But I like that they do this really awesome thing with this amazing overarching villain that sometimes it's like, yeah, front and center. This is his gig. He's doing this. Other times it's like, yeah, like this is his fault, but it's kind of breadcrumbed away and become something else.
It's kind of like how God is in everything in the planet, even if he's not actually there. Like,
yeah.
Wesker's in the leaves,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can we make this a bit? Can we just whatever villain in the game, we just choose that they're the best characters?
I don't know if I can commit to everyone. Like, I couldn't.
We'll see how long it goes.
I can.
Can we make this a series? Handsome Jack. I'm just like I'll drop like 30 different names right now of villains that we could just gush over.
I don't know Handsome Jack. Is that
Borderlands, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Second
One
Borderlands.
of the most charismatic assholes I have ever listened to in a video game ever.
I say
could
at least
probably do one.
I say at least 2 times a year we have like the villains we love series.
That would be great.
All right, yeah.
And the villains who are right and are actually really cool is the one we're working on now. Though.
Yeah, of course.
The
Of
one
course.
who has
Our Lord
really
and
good
Savior.
style.
Leather jackets,
praise
Ray-Bans.
Very, very in the 2000s.
Cat contacts.
meow.
So at the end of RE4, Wesker now is the progenitor virus, the T virus, the G virus, the T Veronica virus, and the Plagueis parasite, and something he picked up from some lady back in the day.
Wow, you son of a bitch! You keep doing it today.
It sounds like
Yeah, the clap. And also he gave something to her as well.
The D.
Yeah, there's
The T virus.
There is Albert Wesker does sing like the 12 Days of Christmas, the DC Douglas, and the first thing is a broken condom bastard named Jake or something like that.
My God,
I love that though.
I love it.
It's great.
It's good to know that we share opinions.
And in the Resident Evil 5 Lost in Nightmares DLC, Wesker has teamed up with Excella Gioni. They're essentially helping her become the head of Tricell. They're working together with some of the viruses. Mm-hmm. And Jill and Chris, though, have gotten the lead on where Spencer might be, the final founder, who has not turned into a Queen Leech or a Nosferatu monster, instead of just some old fuck. And
Just an old fuck in a wheelchair.
And they think that by going to him, they might find Wesker. They do.
Yep, they sure do. And so the funny thing about this is Wesker goes there because he's also trying to like kill Spencer. They want to arrest him, of course, but they get there and there's Spencer's dead body on the ground, and they're like, oh shit. But hey, there's the guy we were actually looking for. Let's get him. Yeah. So they try and get him, and boy, let me tell you, he turns into Neo from the Matrix so hard on them, and they can't even get a punch in.
Well, and why did Wesker kill Spencer, though?
Oh, well, so yeah.
This is very important for Wesker.
Very important.
This is when Wesker realizes
Yeah.
how truly poorly he was treated.
Yes. So while Wesker is there, this is where Spencer basically is on his deathbed, and he's like, you know what? I abducted you as a kid, and I brainwashed you to think that the human race needed to be changed, and injected you with a bunch of viruses, and you were one of the few survivors of this project called Project W. And Wesker's like, you motherfucker.
Is that why all of our last names started with W?
Are you saying that Andy and Alan and Alex Wesker, they were all abducted
They
too?
weren't actually my brothers and sisters. We were just in a weird orphanage together.
Because Andy was black, and that was always odd to me.
My grades were so good, but I couldn't figure this out.
right. So he basically punches a hole in this dude's fucking chest and kills him. So Jill and Chris kick the door in at this particular moment and go, oh no, Spencer's dead. But wait, there's Wesker. He's the guy we were looking for. And so they go after him. And boy, howdy, does this dude just pull some Matrix moves on him. And
Boom, 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 boom,
gets
boom, boom,
gets
boom.
the higher up on Chris, who at this point is the largest man ever.
Dude, he got fucking ripped.
Yeah, he got ripped.
Because you have a very good theory on why
My
he
theory
got ripped.
is that in Code
Ketamine.
Veronica, at the very end, you have a fist fight with him, and Wesker just kicks the ever living shit out of Chris.
Yeah.
And Chris luckily happens to have a lever that has some steel beams at the top of it and pulls it, and it lands on Wesker, and he's like, this won't be the last time you get the higher up on me. And they fly away on a jet or whatever, Resident Evil fashion. But my theory is Chris starts taking a lot of steroids. In case
Creatine, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah. He goes on the keto diet and takes creatine and definitely
He downloads every Stain song he has onto his iPad.
He only listens to Joe Rogan.
Every Joe Rogan, the entire podcast history.
this dude just gets bulked the fuck up and just eats egg whites or whatever the fuck.
Punches fucking boulders
and just starts
stuff.
punching boulders in case he runs into Wesker again, and it doesn't work. And Wesker is literally about to kill him, and if Jill didn't tackle Wesker out of a window, Chris would probably be dead right now.
Yeah.
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 Because Chris isn't that really good of a character.
No. And that's why we're talking about Wesker.
He tried.
Yeah. And I mean, and like Wesker thinks Jill is cool enough that he saves her from dying because they land and they're both assumed dead, but the bodies aren't found. And he's like, even though your mind doesn't work right, Jill, I'm going to use you for good. And he just like puts a little mind control device on her, but she's actually becoming a vessel for good now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's the first time Jill's become a good character in the whole game.
It's really like just light being allowed in to her spirit.
Yeah. He's showing her the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's putting the bleach in her system. So, Wesker basically at this point makes a T-virus cocktail, and he's ready to move forward with his plan. He calls it the Ouroboros Project, which is a really stupid fucking name.
Well, it's probably
it's supposed
Swahili
to be
for something.
It's Ouroboros.
Ouroboros.
Okay.
It's so no, they spell it wrong. The weird thing about it, so the Ouroboros is the symbol of the snake eating its own tail. It's supposed to represent
the medical thing. Yeah.
It's supposed to represent continuity beyond entropy. Yeah. And it's just it's so stupid because they spell it wrong. They fucking
spell it way wrong. I'm looking at it on Google.
It's
They don't even-
Ouroboros.
It's not even close.
It's Ouroboros.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm familiar with alchemy. Thank you.
That's like, but why wouldn't they
That's
just?
also what I learned.
But why wouldn't they just spell it the right way?
Because it's Wesker, man.
Because Wesker
He's
thinks
got-
it's edgy.
Yeah.
Because
gotta have some edge.
you don't sound out the R if you're fucking British, and he's just like, I don't know. I'm just gonna give it one shot and not fact check. Sounds like he's that type of person. So
I don't think he Googles a lot of things. I think he just like goes.
he uses Bing.
Bill Gates will be happy to hear about that.
Bing it.
But Wesker is at this point ready to move forward with his ultimate plan that's going to save the planet and evolve mankind, and it's really great. And if you want to hear that, you'll have to join us for part 2 of our Resident Evil lore, where we're going to finish Resident Evil 5, and then we're going to talk about the other stuff that happens. We call it AW after Wesker.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it could also be why we think Wesker could be alive still.
Yeah,
could also call it-
BWCB before Wesker comes back.
Yeah.
We could call it PWR, pre-Wesker's return.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
It's because Disney got a hold of the franchise. Like, we don't know what to do. Just bring Wesker back. We wrote ourselves in a hole. We need something. Just put Wesker in there. People like him.
Shit, we chopped him in half. Fuck.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
He was in love it. It was fine.
Resident
It's
Evil
fine.
8. Somehow Wesker has returned.
The dead speak. That's the opening to
Dead men.
Rise of Skywalker.
Boo.
Sorry.
Boo.
Dead men do tell tales. Anyway.
Yep.
Yes, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We are the Raw Dogs. If you want to find us, we're on Facebook and Instagram. We're Hair of the Dogcast. We're on Twitter @HotDogcast. If you want access to the Resident Evil lore episode part 2, join us on Patreon for the $3 tier. You can get access to all of our Patreon exclusive episodes, and there's a lot of fun stuff. Join us on our Discord. Our Discord is really great.
Everyone has been so cool on that. I'm still always impressed. I'll say it every single fucking time. If you invite good intentions, they fucking show up.
Yeah. Love everybody on there. It's a really good time. And we still have to celebrate the great Lord Wesker a little bit more. Just join us for $3 or you'll get this episode eventually. But we love you. And yeah, do yourself a favor and go look up DC Douglas on YouTube because he does a lot of like crazy Wesker stuff, which is
Your
really
name
great.
is DC Douglas. You got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Get on Cameo.
He's a capital fellow.
Get on Cameo,
Yeah,
dude.
so
Yeah.
that we can give you money.
I would fucking pay for that. I'd pay for that.
I want him to say happy birthday to my girlfriend.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Does she care?
No.
This is a gift for him.
I want him to say, look at him, look at me. Now look at him, now look at me. Now how do you do this?
He's dumb. You're a femdom.
I hear you live in an RV. Is that okay? I don't know.
So go make yourself a T-virus cocktail, eat a Jill sandwich, and we will see you next time.